everybody, Aaron here with another one for you. Excited to bring you this one. This is K-Pop Demon Hunters song Golden. Let's jump right in. Alright, I'm here on Ultimate Guitar. You can find a link to this chart in the description. This one is all over the place right now, so I thought I'd make a video and show you how to play the song. It's going to be real easy. I'll keep it very simple. I'm going to show you the chords of this song. I'm going to show you three very simple rhythms that you can use to sing along for this song. And then we'll go through the parts of the song, the verse, the chorus, and what I would consider the bridge, and show you how those chords fit so you kind of know what to do with the different parts of the song. And then I am going to teach you the intro at the end. So if you want to be able to play that catchy little tune that happens at the beginning and the end of the song, stick around until then. But for right now, let's talk about the chords in this song. Alright, there are essentially four chords in this song. There is a fifth chord that gets introduced later in what they call the pre-chorus, but I would consider it more of a bridge. We'll look at that in a second. But first, let's look at the chords. This right here is middle C, and we are going to place our right hand right in this area. Okay, I'm actually going to center my hand in a root position C chord like this, C, E, and G in my right hand, and then in my left hand, I'm going to play a C chord. Now, you could keep it real simple and just use the single note, or if you want a richer, fuller sound, you stretch your hand around out into what we call an octave and play a C with your pinky in the bass and a C with your thumb here. And that's how I'm going to do it. But you can simplify it anytime and just do the single note. That will also work. Okay. So C chord is one of the first chords we're going to come across. And then we go to a G chord, which we shift up to G in our left hand and play B, D, and G in our right hand. And notice all I really did was just move those two fingers down to get to that G chord. Okay, and then we will play a D chord. We'll go down here like this, D in our left hand, and then A in my right hand, D and F sharp. Okay, so from the G chord, I keep the middle finger and I slide the outside fingers down one to A and F sharp, and that gives me a D chord. There will be a part during the chorus where we're going to play a D chord over F sharp. That just means we play F sharp in our left hand, and it's going to be because we're walking down to our next chord, which is E minor. Okay, so that's E in the left hand and B, E, and G in the right hand. So those are the four primary chords, and in the verse they go like this. It goes C to G to D to E minor, and that's the chord progression for the intro also. Okay, during the chorus it actually goes C to D and then to G, D over F sharp, and then to the E minor. Okay, and we'll talk about how quickly those chords change when we talk about the rhythm. But let's talk about that new chord that gets introduced in what I call the bridge or the final pre-chorus. Okay, so it is a B minor chord. So if you picture our D chord like this, it's almost the same thing. We're going to keep the F sharp and the D. We're just going to slide our finger up here to B and put it over a B in our left hand. So it's B, D, and F sharp in my right hand, and a B down here in the bass. Okay, and that comes up towards the end of the song. Primarily, it's just those four chords, C, G, D, and E minor. Okay, now let's talk about some rhythms you can use to put those chords together. All right, the simplest way that you can get through these chords is just to play and hold them for 4 beats. Okay, so each chord gets held for 4 beats. There's one part in the chorus where you're going to hold the chord for 2 beats, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But right now we play C. This is like the first verse and then the pre-chorus. So it's C, and then G, and then D, and E minor. And you can just hold it and count for those 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay, and that's actually what happens in the pre-chorus. It's like this: I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Okay, something like that. All right, and then another rhythm that you can use, and this is what happens, like what I would suggest in the verses and in the choruses, is just to play on the quarter notes in your right hand like this. So this would be like verse 1. Ba, ba, da, da. Da, 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 da. Okay, something like that. You're just hitting the quarter notes, 4 beats on each chord, okay? And then the only other rhythm that I would suggest would be kind of a more complicated one. This would be something if you really want to add something in that pre-chorus to build that rhythm. And what that's going to be is you're going to play an octave in your left hand for this one. You have to do a full octave, and then your right hand, and you're going to go like that, okay? So it's left, right, like that. That's the pattern. And if you do it fast, it kind of sounds like what's happening in the second half of that pre-chorus. When she sings, "We're dreaming hard, we came so far, now I believe." And it's like this. We're going up, 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 it's our moment. And then you get into the chorus right there, and I would suggest doing that same quarter note pattern. Okay, so let me show you the pre-chorus into the chorus because it includes all 3 of those rhythm patterns. So it's first 4 whole notes, hold it for all 4 beats, and then you get into the "We're going up, 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 it's our moment." Okay, so that's the 3 different rhythm patterns kind of all right in a row right there, and you can use those and come up with your own way of playing through the song. And so let's look real quick at the structure of the song, the different parts of the song. All right, so we talked about the verse 1. That's the C, G, D, E minor pattern, verse 1. And that takes you all the way up to the pre-chorus. Pre-chorus is the same chord progression, C, G, D, E minor. And that's where you're holding the chord. Second half of the pre-chorus is when you're doing the bouncy pattern. Okay, and then that takes you into the chorus. The chords on the chorus go like this, C, D, and then it's 2 beats on G, 2 beats on D over F sharp, and then 4 beats on E minor. Okay, so it's like this. So you're putting 4 beats on each chord except for from the G to the D over F sharp. All right, and that's the pattern for the chorus. And then that takes you into what this chart calls the post-chorus, same chord progression. And then that takes you into verse 2. And verse 2 is a little unique because the pattern kind of changes. You're holding the chords, but you're going to do an E minor. Okay, so you get to the end of the chorus, you hit the E minor, and let it ring out for 4 beats, and then hit the E minor again. And then you're on to your 4 beats per chord, and then you go to a D. You hold that for 4 beats, and you actually repeat the D again for 4 beats, and then go to the C. Okay, and I wish I could sing it for you. I'm not that good at singing this song, but it's like, waited so long to break these walls down, to wake up and feel like me, something like that. And then 4 beats on the G patterns, and then to the D, and then you do the D again for 4 beats, and then the C. Okay, so that's the verse 2. It's really more like a bridge because then it takes you into the second pre-chorus where you start on an E minor, I'm done hiding, I'll be shining, and then this is where your B minor comes in, like I'm born to be, and then you go to the E minor, B minor, C, and D. So you can see there where the chords kind of change in that second verse and into that second, what it calls pre-chorus. I would really kind of almost feel like this is more of a bridge in general, but then that takes you into the chorus and you're back to your bouncing 4 beats on each chord and then the walk down right here into the E minor. Okay, so that's the parts of the song and how the chords fit into those areas. Gives you some ideas on how you can use the rhythms in each of the different parts. Now let's talk about the intro. All right, so for the intro, you're going to play a short little melodic repeating pattern in your right hand, and you're going to play through the chords. It's the 4 chords that we've been talking about already, and it's 4 beats on each chord, okay? So the pattern you're going to play with your left hand is basically A, B, B, C, B, A, G, okay? And it's just like that, but you're going to be holding the C, or holding the chord name in your left hand like this. So you go through all 4 and then you repeat. And then when you get to the D, you let it ring out right there. And then that's what takes you into the verse 1, or if you're doing it as the outro, that's how you end the song. Okay, so that right there is K-pop Demon Hunters, the song Golden. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Tried to keep it simple, tried to keep it accessible. If you did enjoy it, would you do me a favor? Drop me a like and a subscribe. I would appreciate the engagement if you're not already subscribed. And also do me a favor, jump over to Amazon and check out my book, a piano chord book you can actually use. It is a great resource as you learn how to play the piano. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you guys, and we'll see you next time.